What's going on, everybody? Welcome into Blazers Uprise Live, presented by BetOnline. There is a ton to talk about today. This is going to be one of the most jam-packed off-season streams we could possibly get, as the Blazers finally, Eric, we've talked about it for the longest time, they finally have a G League team. But that's not all we have to talk about. We got to talk about the Milwaukee Bucks losing as a 1 seed in the first round in Game 5 last night, losing 4 out of 5 games to the Miami Heat. Giannis missed part of that series, but when he was healthy, the Heat still bested them. So we're going to have to discuss whether changes can be coming in Milwaukee and how the Blazers might factor in. I dropped a video on that earlier today, a ramble video. So, you guys can go check that out whenever you want to. Had fun filming that one. And I dropped 2 player reviews this morning, like early in the morning. It was Matisse Thybulle and Cam Reddish. So 3 videos today dropped, and then I'll have a couple more tomorrow, player reviews, as we finish those up. Eric, we were just talking about before the stream how this is like the first hot stream of the year.
Yeah.
And I'm warm right now. I just showered. I should have taken a cold shower so that I could have handled this heat, but it's pretty hot down here. How are you doing?
Your beard's probably getting warm too, huh?
Yeah, I need to shave this thing so that I can have my face breathe.
I'm good though, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing good. NFL draft was today. That was interesting to follow along. Just a lot of chaos, it feels like, in the sports world right now.
Yeah.
And it's kind of nice that like the Blazers aren't a part of it, and we didn't have to stress out about our 49ers with the 3rd overall pick they traded up for like we did a couple drafts ago. Like, I'm just chilling right now and just kind of watching chaos happen. So it's kind of nice.
Yep. How's everyone in chat doing today? Hope you're all doing well.
Yeah, let me know how your guys' days are going in chat. What'd you do today? Let me know in chat. I like reading that. So, before we jump into things, we got to thank our sponsor. As always, BetOnline. You can use the promo code BELIEVE, BOEAV, for a 50% reward bonus. You can get in on this chaos I'm talking about over on BetOnline. I think you can still get in on bets for the draft if you want to, but then you can also make the playoffs even more entertaining, and they have been entertaining so far, as the first round continues with a couple of series that could potentially go to a Game 7. That is Lakers Grizzlies and Kings Warriors, and you can get a 50% reward bonus with that promo code BLEAV. Anyway, King said he went to the zoo and saw some animals.
Nice. The Oregon
Sounds like
Zoo.
real King stuff right there.
Did you see the red panda?
There's a red panda
at the zoo, yeah, at the Oregon Zoo.
Is that like natural?
It's like the size of like a raccoon, kind of.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
It's really cute.
I don't know.
But everyone complains that it's never out when they go. So.
Mike said he went to work in school. Carter said he took 3 finals. My goodness, Carter. Hopefully those went well for you. Eric Olson says he's sick with COVID, so not good, actually. Well, Eric, I hope you get better. At least it should be past by the time the mock off season starts, because Eric Olson, you're going to have a team in that. Looking forward to seeing what you do with that, but hopefully you feel better. Devin Ford says, if anyone in chat plays disc golf, hit me up. Yeah, I think I know a really good disc golfer. I think it is some dude that's actually donated before, plays on my rec team. I think it's disc golf. He's really good at something like that. I don't know. But yeah, if anyone wants to play disc golf, hit up Devin Ford. I don't know how he wants you to hit him up, but he says hit me up. Anyway, Eric, I assume you want to talk about the G League first?
Sure, let's do it.
So, it was reported 2 days ago on a Tuesday, that the Blazers are getting a G League team for next season.
Yeah, finally.
Like, we basically have a G League team as of right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's cool because the new CBA has expanded two-way roster spots from 2 to 3, which are players that can play some NBA games, or basically on an NBA roster, but they're limited to the amount of time they spend in the NBA, and outside of that, they have to play in the G League. So now the Blazers have their own G League team. Now, if they send players down to the G League, they won't be sending them down to Los Angeles or wherever. It won't be Greg Brown having to fly, down to Southern California just to play a couple G League games before coming back, right? So the Blazers have their own G League team, which leaves the Phoenix Suns as the only team left without a G League team, and I expect that to change very soon, Eric, as part of the reason they didn't have a G League team was probably their cheap former owner in Robert Sarver. Now they got Matt Ishbia in there. He was a catalyst behind them getting Kevin Durant, so I'd expect the Suns to have one soon. And it's kind of interesting timing because the new CBA was ratified. I wonder if once the entire league has G League teams, if there could be any changes in regards to how rosters and stuff are handled, but that would have to be under the CBA, so wouldn't expect anything anytime soon with that. But regardless, it'll be cool for Portland to have a G League team playing in the Portland area at the University of Portland, at the Chiles Center. So you guys, if you live in the Portland area, will be able to go watch G League games if you want to. I'll be able to go watch G League games if I want to. G League Select will probably play there next year.
If you want to.
I mean, hey, if they will let me film, I will hire a professional film crew. Small. Okay. I have a connection. And I will wear a mic if they want to let me try out for the G League team, and maybe embarrass myself, but I've seen other YouTubers try out for G League teams, and it's just they can't even dribble. So, maybe I can actually kind of fit in slightly, not really, but maybe a little bit would be good. Good publicity for their G League team,
fun.
Yeah, so I'd love to do that.
Yeah. Well, as to the Phoenix Suns, Sharif Abdur-Rahim, former Blazer, he actually came out. He's somewhere in the NBA front office or the NBA Players Association front office. I don't know what his official role is, but he recently said in an interview that all the teams would have one by the 24-25 season, and it sounds like the Blazers just jumped the gun and got ahead of it. But I think that means the Suns will have to have one by next year.
Yep, gonna be interesting. But gonna be fun to maybe just pay a little bit of attention to that. And I don't know. I don't know how invested I am gonna be into the G League team, but obviously we'll talk about it a little bit. It just gives us an extra little thing to talk about, oh, look at this dude playing for our G League team. He's been lighting it up,
Yeah.
And me and you are so nerdy, Eric, that we'll probably know a lot of the players on that G League team.
For sure. And then you can have guys like Skylar Mays and Nate Williams and stuff on that team that you can call up when you have injuries or you tank at the end of the season or whatever. Would have been nice to have that last year, but
yeah. So apparently the team's already been named. We just don't know it yet. They better not have named it the Blazers Uprises, all right? Or I might have to start a lawsuit. Or it's free publicity.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it'd be a good thing.
But then
everybody would think everybody would think our channel is based off the G League team and not the NBA team. So, but yeah, you could come up with some cool names. Portland Rain.
I think our audience is smarter than that.
Yeah, I mean Portland Rain is one I've heard. Could spell it Rain or REIGN.
The way they worded it made it seem like it's possibly just temporarily in Portland, because they said something like this first season will be playing at the Chiles Center or something like that. So I'm wondering if just the speed of how this all is going down and them trying to force it into next season when it's been said that this usually takes closer to a year and a half to plan. I think maybe they're just going to do it here one season and possibly move it somewhere else.
Bring it to Vancouver.
So I don't know if it'll be named Portland or, Rip City or Rose City or whatever. Maybe it'll be like Oregon or something or some other play on it. But I have a feeling it won't be like Portland specific with the name.
Yeah, I mean, it should stay in the Portland area. I like having a G League team close. It doesn't really make sense to put G League teams in small cities. It just there's not the minor league impact like with baseball.
Well,
So
I mean, it does seem kind of weird, like in the same city as the pro team, though. Like it should be close, but not like the act.
I think it's fine if it's in the same city. I just don't think it really matters, honestly, location. Like if you were able to put these G League teams in like, I don't know, Salem and get support, right? Just like you have the Hobson Hillsboro and they're able to turn out a little bit of a crowd, right? Then yeah, put it in a different city so they get basketball and whatnot. There's just not a ton of turnout for G League teams in towns like those. So without that, it makes no sense to really put them elsewhere. So I think it's okay to have it in the same city. I think it's easier on the players that get called down, called up, called down, called up. It's easier on the team running things too.
I mean, if you had it in Vancouver or Salem or whatever, they could still practice at the facility and just have the games in Salem or whatever.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think we have a place
Yeah.
that would be good enough.
True.
I'm not sure,
Yeah.
but we should have one. But I don't think we do. So, build the place. Maybe that'd be cool. I would love to have it just close where I could just easily go. Go scout guys. That'd be fun. But regardless, happy that they have a G League team. They finally got this thing done. We've been talking about it for a while. Interested to see what the name is going to be.
Yep. And yeah, Child Center is a nice venue. It doesn't have to be big for a G League team, so I think that's a good place to have it too.
Priest says the venue has to be commercial TV accommodating, so no crappy venue in Vancouver, Tory, with 2 R's. Okay, 1, spell my name right. It has 5 letters. It's not hard. 2, don't hate on my city, man. Okay? Don't hate on Vancouver. I know we don't have a venue, but don't hate on Vancouver. That's personal.
Devin asked how many people normally go to G League games. I'd venture it's only a couple thousand at most, probably 2,000 or 3,000, depending on how good the team is and who they're playing. Like last year, I think I probably would have went when the Ignite came to town, right, with Scoot and Leonard Miller and stuff. That would have been fun to watch them in person and scout them in person.
Yeah, we should have Brandon Roy be the coach of our G League team. And we can bring him in, and the cool announcement for who's going to the lottery, we can bring him in to be our G League coach, okay? And then, since he's with the organization, he can go to the draft lottery, because the last time he represented us at the draft lottery, we got the number 1 overall pick.
Mm-hmm. Slim says, why wouldn't they play at Memorial Coliseum? I'm guessing it's because of something to do with the Winterhawks and just scheduling it. Probably a conflict or something.
Yeah. Anything else on?
I forgot what his name is, but there's a 5-star recruit that is still 2 years away from the NBA that's going to play in the G League on the Ignite team. So that'll be cool to see him.
Yeah, he had a unique name.
Yeah.
He had a unique name. So
yeah, I didn't want to butcher it. But
yeah, I don't remember what it is. Anyway, Priest, I will argue with you later.
In Priest's defense, we haven't had our names on the screen in like years. So.
I mean,
maybe
what, you don't got remember. Twitter? Like, you don't see everyone else that spells it right? There's actually a lot of people that spell it with 2 R's. So maybe I need to put the names back up so you guys just know how to spell my name.
Dink Pate?
Yeah, it was something like that. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway. Anything else on the G League team? Do you guys have any questions regarding the G League
happy
team?
to have one, and it'll be nice that they'll be practicing at the facility, so the staff will be integrated with the coaching staff of the main team, and they can do all those things. They can even kind of practice together, get a better look at guys. I think that'll be nice.
They better take that Douglas fir mascot and give it to the G League team.
Yeah, and just keep it away from Portland. Yeah,
yeah. Keep it out of the Moda Center. Put it with the G League team where it belongs.
YYC says, does this mean Jody isn't cheap? No, it doesn't really mean anything because, like we said, the NBA was expecting all teams to have one. So I think they having it in Portland actually seems like the bare minimum. Like they have a venue, they can practice at the facility, so they don't have to do like any real work. So to me, I wouldn't read anything either positive or negative in terms of Jody for it.
Yep, absolutely. Anyway, segue with a dono from Carter Dick with the $2 dono. Says, if we get first pick, would you give it for Giannis? Eric.
If that's on the table, I think you probably have to.
I would give it if we could keep one of Sharp or Simons.
Yeah, I don't think we can.
I mean, you're talking about the best prospect since LeBron, maybe better prospect since LeBron. Like, if Giannis wants out and wants to come to Portland, they're willing to work with them. Like, if you can get the best prospect maybe ever, like, I don't know, like he's a generational prospect on top of a Sharp or a Simons, on top of maybe, a couple future picks, then I don't know, that's pretty dang good. That's how you start. That's how you retool if you're Milwaukee.
I think though, like pretty much every team, even rebuilding teams, could, fast forward their rebuild by getting Giannis. So I don't know. I don't think he can really force his way here. I mean, the Bucks could be nice, but I don't know. Like, I'd be mad. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't mind, helping Dame get to where he wants to be, but if they don't have a better package than another team, then I'm going to be mad that we got less value than we could have. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'd do it like straight up. I'd do it, obviously, top 3 player in the world to pair with a top 10 player in the world who's Dame. Like, giving him a top 3 player in the world, you absolutely have to do it. And then you still could potentially have Nurkic and Grant. So you still have a couple of guys there. No, we're not trading Dame for the millionth time, Chris C. But I mean, so I dropped the Giannis video, and here's what it is. And this is what I was saying before the playoffs was, if the Bucks fall apart in the playoffs, I think there's a small chance that Giannis maybe looks elsewhere or thinks about it, because they don't have assets to improve the team. And people say, oh, well, they lost because Giannis was hurt. He played healthy in Game 4 on the road in Miami. They lost. He played healthy in Game 5 at home in Milwaukee, and they lost. They collapsed last night.
Yeah, it wasn't just that they lost. They just, including Giannis, fumbled the bag there.
Yeah. So how does Milwaukee get better? Because with the new CBA rules, it's going to be even harder. It's going to be even harder for them to get better. They could make a taxpayer mid-level exception signing maybe and stay under the second tax apron. I don't think they're going to be able to do anything and stay under the first tax apron, but they do have a lot of free agents. But like Chris Middleton has a player option for almost $40 million this year. Drew Holiday is being paid a lot of money. Bobby Portis making $11 million. Pat Connaughton making like $9 million. Grayson Allen making, I forget, like
8 or 9, yeah.
8 or 9. So, it's going to be tough for them to get better. They don't have trade assets. They don't have any good young players. Their best young prospect is Marjon Beauchamp, who just doesn't have a ton of trade value. Like, he's just not that good of a prospect.
First round value.
Maybe first round value, yeah. He's basically like Keon Johnson last year, right? Which, I mean, I guess, Keon Johnson got the Clippers a lot, so maybe there's a team dumb enough to do that, but regardless, like, it's going to be tough for Milwaukee to get better. The only clear way they can get better is maybe by firing Mike Budenholzer and bringing in Nick Nurse. Like, I think Nick Nurse would be a better coach in the playoffs. I think he makes better adjustments than Budenholzer, so maybe it'd be different with Nick Nurse. But from a roster standpoint, it's going to be tough for Milwaukee to get better. Chris Middleton in the regular season had a down year, but he was banged up the whole time. But the problem is like, Chris Middleton's been a little bit injury-prone. Okay, and players that are injury-prone tend to start to decline a little bit quicker, and Middleton is going to be 32 before next season. Drew Holiday's what, 33, 34? How old is Drew Holiday? He's only 32. It feels like he's been in the league since forever. Yeah, I guess he came in really young. in 2009. But yeah, Drew Holiday's 32, but he has a lot of miles on his legs. He had a really good season. I don't think he's declining yet. I think his game will age well. But regardless, I just don't really see the way up for Milwaukee. And you have to wonder how Giannis feels about the roster position they're in.
Yeah, I'm not saying it'll happen, but I definitely think if it was a possibility, them flaming out in the first round in the way they did, with just an epic fourth quarter collapse. And I mean, Giannis got the ball. They were up, they were up 1 at the time with like 4 seconds left off a jump ball, and he hot potatoed it, like almost threw it out of bounds. Middleton made a great play to save it. Like he didn't even want the ball in that situation because he knew he wasn't field it from the free throw line. So yeah, like just to watch him kind of do that and just, I mean, there's 0.5 seconds left. They have a timeout. They could have called a timeout, advanced the ball, and gotten a similar lob play to Giannis and like the Heat got to Jimmy. And then at the end of overtime, they ended the game with 2 timeouts left and didn't use one at the end and let the time run out. It's just seeing that, I'd be surprised if Budenholzer is back, first of all. And yeah, I think it would take Giannis asking out for him to be traded. Maybe they just trade Drew and Middleton and hope that they have a different pieces that are a little closer to Giannis's age or something.
Here's the thing, though. Is Middleton trending towards being a negative? Well, I mean, he's on an expiring next year, so I guess he's not a negative.
Well,
contract,
he's not a player option, so you're assuming he's going to take it, obviously.
I mean,
$40 million, but
I mean, in the regular season, like he was better in the playoffs, but it didn't matter. They didn't win, you know. In the regular season, he played 33 games.
Yeah, but he was coming back from injury and wasn't really himself. So
yeah, but like he didn't shoot the 3-ball well. And his 3-ball declined a little bit last year. Mm-hmm. His efficiency from 2 declined the past 2 years. Like I don't know. Like, is he still like all-star Chris Middleton? I'm not sure.
I mean, last night he torched the Heat in the first half. That's how they got their lead, and then they had to start double teaming him every time he posted up, and that's no one else stepped up. That's kind of when the collapse started. But
yeah, basically my whole point though is with him having a year left on his deal and him kind of struggling, barely playing last year, I don't see how they get better by trading him.
Right, but you know, I could see a team like, well, take Portland for example, who's desperate to make a change or whatever, and all of a sudden they're offering like Anthony or someone like that, and Nas and another contract to match or whatever.
I mean, I see no way, but
no, you know what I mean. No, all it takes is for one team to be dumb like that, and I wouldn't put it past Cronin to get a veteran who's a champion, you know, like type player. So yeah, I mean, I would hope like heck that wouldn't happen, but I mean, like they get like an Anthony Simons level player for Middleton or some team is dumb like that, and I could see them getting right back to it. I mean, they were the number 1 seed despite Middleton missing all that time, so it's not like it was like that bad of a season. It was just a collapse in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, this year you're kind of seeing teams that are more offensively loaded having more success than in years past. Yeah, I mean, they could absolutely run it back. You just have to wonder what Giannis thinks. You know what I mean? Because yeah. I can't rule out that he's not looking at this like, how do we get better? You know, they went all in on Drew Holiday, and now they have to pay the repercussions. Guess what? It was still the right move because they won a championship because they had Drew Holiday, right? They went all in, won a championship. The problem is that after winning that championship, normally there comes a point where it's like, okay, we're stuck and we're not good enough and we can't make the moves to get there. Maybe Milwaukee's at that point, maybe not. I mean, it depends, but I don't know. They look terrible. Even with Giannis, they look terrible. So Giannis is an intriguing dude. It seems like it's kind of hard to tell what he thinks, but the reason why I talked about it before the playoffs is like, if they flame out, it's a possibility, was because Chris Haynes had that report back in late 2020 talking about Dame and Giannis being really close, and like Giannis works out with nobody that's not on his team, but he was going to work out with Dame, and Dame and Giannis had discussed playing together before, and like I think out of any player on any other team other than the Bucks, like Dame might be Giannis's favorite guy or the guy he wants to play the most with.
Selected him first in the All-Star draft.
Over Drew Holiday, by the way. So, like that's part of the reason, and then the other part of the reason is like the Blazers are dreaming of Giannis. Blazers are dreaming of Giannis.
Well, Dame had the retweet of him and Giannis in the Blazer jersey. I think he since deleted the retweet or unretweeted it, but yeah, even Dame, I think, was seeing visions of Giannis last night in his head.
I mean, this front office has been seeing visions of Giannis before the playoffs. And before the playoffs, like going into it, it's kind of foolish. But now, after they collapsed, I can't say it's all that foolish anymore. They don't need Giannis to become available. Like, the offseason doesn't change whether Giannis becomes available, because it shouldn't be a situation where you planned on Giannis becoming available. You shouldn't have planned on Milwaukee collapsing like this, right? But with Milwaukee collapsing like this, if Dame can recruit him, then the Blazers do have assets that could be very intriguing for the Milwaukee Bucks. And if Milwaukee's willing to, like, work with Giannis to get him somewhere he wants to play, I mean, then the Blazers would have a chance in any sort of scenario like that. That's really the two things that this is dependent upon. Dame recruiting Giannis successfully, which is a big if, right? But still, Dame recruiting Giannis and then Milwaukee being able to work with Giannis, because I think if Milwaukee's willing to be able to work with Giannis, obviously they're not going to accept crap back, but if they're willing to work with Giannis for a package that's good enough, the Blazers have the assets to make that package good enough.
Yep. And this is like the one of the, like, a few, there's maybe like 3 or 4 players that fit this criteria that you probably do whatever it takes to get them. And also it completely saves Joe Cronin and makes him look like a genius for waiting, So that is a scenario where if he lucks into Giannis simply because he didn't trade for OG last summer and didn't get Dame the help he wanted all season, that's tough. But I believe the offer would have to start with Ant, Sharp, and whatever our lotto pick is, whether that's number 1, number 2, number 3. I don't think we're getting out of this trade. You don't get a 28-year-old who's the best player in the league, arguably. You don't get him in a trade unless it's going to really hurt what you give up. So I almost would like, if we're gonna get him, I'd almost rather not get the number 1 pick, just so we don't have to always have that what if question. Like, I'd rather have 2, so it's Sharp 2 and Anthony, because I think that's still probably better than pretty much everyone else. But like,
Carter has another $2 dono. Appreciate you, Carter. He says, what teams could offer better packages?
Yeah. Well, I mean, just go through pretty much every team. I mean, the big teams, like, there's not a lot of playoff teams that could offer a big package that are like contenders already. So I think that's the situation where, like, the Lakers or whatever, they don't have enough future assets to get that trade done. But OKC is a team that could offer like 15 first or something like that, and some quality young players like Giddey, Jalen Williams, those kind of players, and start their rebuild. It depends on where they land in the lottery as well, to see their package. But there's someone who could just go all in with SGA and Giannis. I don't know if that's like the greatest fit, but even as YYC mentions, the Jazz have all these picks now from trades they've made. I have a bunch of young players. They could absolutely make a move like that. So
but see, like if Giannis wants to come to Portland and like doesn't want to go to Utah or OKC, how aggressive are they going to be like trading their entire future for Giannis? You know, like OKC's in more of a position than Utah.
right.
Like if he gets traded to Utah, like how's that much different than Milwaukee? You know, it's probably worse than Milwaukee. But OKC obviously, if you get SGA and Giannis, two really long last names there, might have to just reduce the font size on their jerseys. But that's the one team I'd be worried about. But the thing is like, I think Milwaukee, if it ever comes to it, they'll want a really good young player that's already really good. They're going to want a young player that shows flashes are really good and has like enormous upside. And then they're going to want a really high pick in this year's draft. Because they traded future first, like they don't have them. They can't go the route like, oh, we're just going to suck and rack up a bunch of top picks. So like, it doesn't make sense for them to retool in a way where they just like take back picks and trade all their players and they're bad for a really long time. Mm-hmm. But obviously, if you're trading Giannis, you want to go young at the same time. That's why Portland's package is good in my opinion, because Anthony Simons is already a 21 point per game scorer. If he got traded to Milwaukee, then I think he's a 25 point per game scorer next year and a borderline star. You got Sharp, obviously, who showed flashes of being really good. And if he starts next year, I could see him being a 20 point per game scorer at 20 years old. Has enormous upside. And then the lottery pick this year. So Portland would definitely be in any position. I mean, it just comes down to Dame, can you successfully recruit him?
Yep.
And you know, that's the thing, Eric, is it's not likely still, but if Harden leaves Philadelphia because they lose in the second round to the Celtics and Harden goes to Houston, which is the rumor right now, which is kind of weird, like, could Joel Embiid want out? Small chance that Portland would be able to be the team that lands him, but it's like if you have a 5% chance at Embiid and a 5% chance at Giannis and a 10% chance at Wemby and, like maybe a 5% chance at, I don't know, Siakam or whatever, and you just add that up, like all of a sudden your chances of actually getting one of those guys it grows with the more options you have, because you just need one of them to come true. So that's where Milwaukee losing excites me. I don't think it's going to happen, but I think there's a small chance that it's possible.
Yeah. It's starting to remind me of maybe, just maybe, turning out like the Boston Celtics in 2007 when they got Garnett and Ray Allen in the same summer. Now, I'm not saying we're going to get two stars like that, but, I mean, Giannis is, would be a game changer. Like, everyone says, oh, that's an outlier or whatever, but you could definitely see a path to where that's awesome if we're able to land him. And it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. I know, I get what people are saying. You can't trade Sharp, but I mean, we're literally talking about a perennial MVP guy, top 3 player in the league at worst. You can't not go for it with Dame and Giannis if that's on the board.
Oh, absolutely. You absolutely go. You have 2 top 10 players. 2 top 10 players.
Yeah.
You give Dame. I saw a comment earlier. Where is it?
No, busy. Stop. You know the answer to that. Come on, man.
So Giovanni asked me, why would Giannis it was Giovanni asked me something. He says, how is Siakam a bad fit and Giannis a good fit? LOL. Because Giannis is much, much better than Siakam, because Giannis is arguably the best player in the world. Like, if you get Siakam, it's like, okay, how does he fit next to Dame? If you get Giannis, it's how do Giannis and Dame fit together? It's a different conversation because Giannis is that good. Like, Giannis can lead the team, and then it's like, okay, does Dame fit next to him? He does. Okay.
I think Grant fits better in that than Siakam does. I don't know.
Yeah, like if you're comparing Siakam to Giannis, I mean, you're just wrong. There's no point in even comparing them. Anyway.
CJ the Goat says, oh, go ahead.
Oh, just there's a comment. Knicks can outbid Portland. I mean, I don't really see what good young player they have to give up.
I mean, they could trade quickly and Obi Toppin and stuff, but yeah, it's
doesn't come close to Simons and Sharp. and New York doesn't have a really high lottery pick. So I don't see how the Knicks beat that package.
RJ Barrett.
RJ Barrett.
I mean, they have like
Gross.
7 future firsts still that they could trade, but
Gross. Yeah, Barrett, no. Barrett.
But yeah, they have the. I mean, I guess the Dallas pick could fall to 11, and they would get that. That would be a good trade chip. Not as good as our lottery pick is, but yeah, that's just way too much. I think we have way too much talent to be outbid if Giannis wanted to come here.
Yeah. The Knicks have a 34% actually, 34% chance of getting Dallas's pick at like 11, 12, 13, whatever. Okay. Portland has a almost 32% chance of getting a top 3 pick. So if you want to play that route, top 3 pick, I think goes a long way. Because if you can talk about Scoot, I mean, you positionally there's a
because
little
then
confusion.
they probably trade Holiday, and then they probably
Scoot, Simon, Sharp. I mean, that's a pretty dang good start. You'd run into
they might
when
trade
they're
one of
talking
those
about
guys.
contention, you run into the conversation like which one of the guys do you trade. But now you'd be fine. Develop all 3. You can develop all 3 together. Amen Thompson, if he had strength, can be a 3. Maybe they really like Brandon Miller. I don't know. Brandon Miller's young. Upside isn't super high, but maybe they view him as a perfect fit next to Simons and Sharp. I don't know. Maybe you get a top 3 pick. I mean, your foot's in the door. So, Giovanni says it's not comparing Giannis and Siakam. It's that they occupy the same space on the floor. Bro, well, Giannis occupies that space much, much better. So,
by the way, Dallas only has a 20.2% chance of moving down to 11.
Yeah, but no, it says 19 on Tankathon.
You said 30 something.
I said they have because they have a 65.9% chance of staying at 10. If they move down, then they lose their pick. So, that's basically 66% chance of staying at 10, 34% chance of moving down and losing the pick.
No.
They can move up.
Moving up is factored in there. So, yeah, it's only a 20.2% chance.
20.2% chance.
So
I
even
gave
worse.
them more benefit of the doubt. Yeah. Yep. So, I forgot they can move up. Hopefully they don't move up.
Yeah, hopefully.
But, yeah, I see people like, why would Giannis want to go to Portland? Like, Giannis has already talked with Dame about playing in Portland before.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, he'd want to come here to play with Dame. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Like, he's in Milwaukee. It's not like Milwaukee's some great city, but, like, Giannis doesn't need to go to a big market. You think Giannis cares about that? Giannis doesn't care. Giannis is not the type of guy to care about, I want to play in New York City where I can have a bunch of lights on me and cameras and blah, blah, blah. Giannis is not built like that.
Yeah.
It's just crazy to me that people think Giannis would want to go to a big market. He wouldn't want to come to Portland. Like, if Giannis wants to go somewhere, it's to play with someone, most likely. He lives, breathes basketball. He's a chill guy off the court. Like, so he's already talked with Dame about playing with him. I don't even know why it's a discussion for people. Like, why would he come to Portland? It's obvious.
So are you giving up Sharp and number 1 if we got number 1? It's okay.
I would. Okay, Eric. I would let Dame make that decision.
Yeah. Okay, that's on the table. They're like, okay.
Are we trading future first?
No, that's it. Just no future first, nothing. That's all you have to do is give up those 3, and
like Nas to match salary.
Yeah, just what salary here. But so it's either you have no other options. You can't alter this at all. It's either yes or no. You give up Anthony, Sharp, Wemby, and a filler like Nas, or you don't get Giannis. What are you choosing? You should do a poll.
Okay. Yeah, that's a great poll question. Should I do yes and no and just make people choose, or should I give them the option to let Dame decide?
I just want not even Dame. Let's just say Dame Dame leaves it up to you in chat.
Oh yeah, that's so tough.
Yeah. I'll tell you right now, I would do it, but the Bucks are gonna be my second favorite team, and I'm probably starting a side project of Bucks Uprise and watching I'm getting League Pass for the first time in a while and watching every game of the Bucks as well as the Blazers. So
yeah, and I can root for Milwaukee, you know what I mean?
But that's also why I said I hope we get number 2, so we don't have to worry.
Brady Moten chat says, doesn't matter. I don't want to get rid of Sharp under any circumstances, not even for the MVP Antetokounmpo. I mean, if that's the case, sure. But man, I think there is people out there that are a little too high on Sharp if you're not willing to trade him for the best player in the world.
I think also, I mean, you make that trade. I mean, that's pretty much it. Like you gave Dame a chance to win. You did it. You went all in for him. I don't think he could ever then retire or 20 years down the line in his Hall of Fame speech. I don't think you can. If you're Dame, you can't ever say that they didn't give you a legit chance if that happened.
Yep. Yeah, you do right by Dame. Yeah.
Rahi asked, would you do that same thing for Embiid? I don't think I would give up that much for Embiid.
No. No.
Yeah.
If it's not the number 1 pick, then...
Yeah, I probably would, but...
Then I probably would. Yeah, it's a conversation, but outside of that, it'd be really tough too. But Dave's been here for over a decade, man. It's he's been super loyal. If he wants it, and you have a chance to get arguably the best player in the world, how do you say no? What have we been waiting for then, I understand the future core looks phenomenal, but guess what? There's been teams with really good young cores that haven't come close to winning a championship. You know what I mean? Everybody assumes Sharp is going to... I feel like a lot of people just assume Sharp's going to be a top 5 player automatically someday, and I still think that's unlikely.
Yeah.
Right? Wemby, whether it becomes a top 3 to 5 player in the league, it's probably 50-50. Zion was a can't miss prospect, but that's the thing is you get guys
because of his weight, but
a lot of people treating him like a can't miss prospect, right? But he comes into the league and he has all these problems, with his body. You don't know if Wemby's going to hold up or not. I don't think Wemby's going to get bullied or he's going to be fragile like some people assume, but you don't know for sure. It's just you're banking on unknowns. And I get it. Sharp, I love Sharp. I wanted Sharp. I wanted to take a swing on Sharp's upside. I understand why people are super high on him. I'm super high on him too. I think wherever he goes, he's going to be a star. If he's here in Portland or if he goes somewhere else, I think he's going to be a star.
And that's why the Bucks would be my second favorite team.
yeah, exactly. I get it. I get why you would like Sharp and want to keep Sharp. Okay? But also, if you got a chance to pair a top 3 player with Dame, then I think you got to do it.
All Good says, they got to stop. They got to think about the Blazers. I'm well, how is pairing Dame with Giannis not thinking about the Blazers? I don't get some of your guys' argument.
I'd say yes to that, by the way. Chat poll is completely divided. Trevor Williams says, I have no issue giving up on Sharp for a top 20-ish type player because I think Sharp, at best case, is a top 15 to 30 type player. If you think his ceiling's 15th, 15th, 20th best player in the league, then giving him up for 15th or 20th best player to win now isn't bad. Just as long as you can get to contention. That's really the key. The thing is, you get Giannis with Dame, you're contending because you'd still have Nurkic in this hypothetical. You'd still have Jeremy Grant in this hypothetical. You could still attach first to Nurkic to maybe get something, right? You have a hole at the starting shooting guard position. You could maybe go out in free agency with a tax MLE and sign a Josh Richardson. That That would kind of like be my dream target for that starting shooting guard position. Obviously, he's not like great, but he can defend and knock down threes, and I think just would be a solid overall fit in that lineup.
We've seen it time and time again too. Guards are easier to get. We just had so many we haven't really needed to. So those like the Norm Powell trade, like we could get a player like that back, I think.
Asia says, I feel like the NBA has kind of shifted towards teams with a lot of depth. I mean, the thing is when you have two great players, it makes a lot of your depth look better. It's a lot easier for other guys. Like, having Giannis and Dame on the court will make things much easier for the other three guys on the court, and then the team will look like it has depth, most likely.
Yeah. So Olga says, I don't think you can look through the do right by Dame lens. It's either the right move or not. Okay, so just taking away the whole situation, the Blazers have a chance to add a 28-year-old who is, if not the best player in the league, like one of, on a very, very short list of best players in the league. You have a chance to add that guy. How is that looking through another lens saying that that's not what's best for the team to add? Like, I get it if he was 33 or something, or like Embiid, like, is a couple years older and isn't quite as healthy throughout the season. So or if like we're talking about Kevin Durant or something at 34 or 35 years old, like, I understand that that's probably a little too much to give up. But I mean, it's not like he's over the hill or anything.
This we owe Dame thing is crazy. This is a business. I mean, it's a good business decision to get a top 3 player. Like, Dame is in my opinion, the most talented Blazer to ever wear a Blazer jersey. You're talking about getting a guy who's clearly better than Dame's ever been. You know what I mean? Like, Giannis would immediately become the most talented player to ever wear a Blazer jersey. The best player compared to the rest of the league that's ever worn a Blazer jersey. And it's like, oh, well, but doing right by Dame doesn't make business sense, like, what do you mean? This Dame thing is crazy. This is a business. That's a great business decision to get a guy like that. And it's a great decision to do right by Dame at the same time. It's both. It's both. So, like, if you don't care at all that your superstar has been loyal for 11 years and hasn't left and has stuck it out, I mean, I don't think that's a good business decision. I think the organization should care about that. So, this is a relevant conversation for not just Giannis, okay? Because see this comment in chat. Bad topic, not having it. No way, can't do it. This is... If Embiid becomes available, this conversation could partially apply. Obviously, it wouldn't be the same trade package, but like if Jalen Brown became available, right? Like, this is a very relevant conversation.
Yeah, I have some info regarding that.
Okay, go ahead.
If the Celtics, I know they won tonight, so that didn't help the situation.
Yeah.
But if they flame out of the playoffs, if they lose to the 76ers or don't win the championship, I've heard that Jalen Brown could pull a Jeremy Grant this summer.
Like, in regards to...
He wants to play with Dame and Jeremy. Just putting that out there. If they win the championship, it's not going to happen, but...
Okay, I feel like people underestimate how bad other NBA players want to play with Dame.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the rest of the league really respects Damian Lillard. Other players really respect Damian Lillard. Now you're getting into territory where, like, guys as young as Jalen Brown were, like, before they got to the NBA, they were potentially fans of Damian Lillard, watching him play in the NBA, watching him hit a game-winning, series-winning buzzer beater against the Houston Rockets in 2014. So, Giannis has talked with Dame about playing with him before. That Jalen Brown thing doesn't surprise me at all. I wish the Hawks won, but the good news, Eric, is the 76ers are playing the Celtics in the second round. And either way, it's going to be potentially that situation if the Celtics lose, or it's going to be the 76ers failing to reach the conference finals again. And James Harden's a free agent, and there's rumors about him leaving. So who are you rooting for with knowing that information, Eric?
Well, as Trevin puts, he's rooting for the Celtics now. Yeah, I don't. No. So yeah, let me just say, if that's true and he wants to be here, I'm more fine with him than I would be just like going all out for him and trying to overpay for him or whatever.
Yeah. Jalen Brown has proven that he can be the second best player on a finals team.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Nobody else on the Blazers have come close to proving they can be the second best player on a finals team. You could, I don't know. I'd be curious to see what the trade package would look like. But I wonder if you could keep Sharp and just have it be Simons plus the lottery pick plus maybe another future pick or two. Probably depends on where that lottery pick ends up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's all keep that on the down low, though. All 150 of you that are in here, let's just pretend I didn't say that. But yeah, later down the road, we'll all remember that we were here at 10:30 on a Thursday in April.
Yeah,
just
when
like
somebody else tries to claim that they were saying it right now, if it happens,
just like a Thursday in April last year.
Yeah. Taylor Packer says, is Eric the greatest insider of all time? Okay, if this Jalen Brown thing plays out, then I am willing to sit here and say that Eric is the greatest Blazer insider, at least right now.
No.
I'm saying it. You don't have to agree, Eric. I will gas you up against your will.
Yeah.
If it happens. I mean, if that happens, I mean, you had it first, and you had the details of the Jeremy Grant thing first, so. Anyway, we're all here ready to gas you up, Eric. Murray, $2 Australian dodo, says, is there a way to get Giannis without using Sharp? Nope. There's not.
Yeah, probably not.
Hyperprime, $5 dono says, I just got here, but I saw your vid earlier, Tori. Thank you for specifying that we are guaranteed to get Giannis. Thank you, Hyperprime, for the $5 dono.
While we're on the subject of Murray, I went back and found that donation from last year.
Oh, yeah, it was. He told me, and it was just kind of something random.
Yeah. But I wanted to make sure we...
Murray, do you want us to read it or not? Let us know in chat. Yeah, he dipped out after that. Luckily, my dono feed is working again. Right now, I think the Bucks fans have found my video. I think they're starting to find it. So.
Where did it go?
There you go. This dude left a comment. This is literally what we clown other fan bases for. Absolutely ridiculous. Like, the dude didn't listen to the whole video, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Like. And as far as the title goes, it works, okay? It works. Like, you know, after putting in all the work on player reviews that didn't get that many views, but I put them out there for people that want to watch them. You know, I just don't do it for views, but a video like this, I'm absolutely going to title it the way I titled it. The video on the main channel. Absolutely going to title it that way.
And Murray had another donation if you want to read that off.
Yeah, $2 Australian dono. It's in all caps. It says, post-school Eric Bomb. Let's effing go. Hopefully I did the comment justice. But yeah, Murray's in Australia, obviously, with the $2 Australian dono. So, yeah, he's getting off school right now, I guess. So, thank you for the dono, Murray. Appreciate you. Shout out Raiden, $2 dono. No message. Raiden, if you meant to leave a message in YouTube. Got rid of it for some reason. Let me know. Leave it in chat. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Eric, things are starting to add up to, like, the Blazers are going to make a splash.
Yeah.
Something's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, with the way things are kind of trending right now, I think it takes the stress off of the lottery. Obviously, I desperately want the Blazers to get the number 1 pick because it makes things easier to pull off trades.
Yeah.
But also, like, I don't know, maybe Jalen Brown becomes available. I don't know, would you give Sharp and Simons up for him? I don't know if I'd give up both. That'd be tough, but...
Well, at least he plays somewhat, a 2-3 position, so
yeah,
it hurts a little less giving those 2 up. Maybe you keep your lottery pick then. I don't know.
Yeah, like I'm saying, if the pick becomes number 1, you get Wemby. Like, Jalen Brown, Jeremy Grant, Wemby, and Nurk with Dame.
Yeah.
It's a good two-way team.
Mm-hmm.
With still a lot of offensive talent.
Yeah.
So, that's the thing is I understand that opinions are going to be divided on this. You don't have to sit here and scream, get mad, because I know people get mad, like, you can't trade Sharp no matter what is wrong with you? Like, people get mad about anything that has Sharp going elsewhere, right? I get it. There's going to be like 5-6 different opinions on what is just value in a Jalen Brown trade.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be a bunch of argument. Like, the thing is what do we all want? We want the Blazers to get better, right? Some people want the Blazers to get worse, but for the most part, we want the Blazers to get better. Obviously, a draft lottery, getting the number 1 or number 2 overall pick, moving up in the draft would make it easier to get the Blazers better, right?
Yeah.
And if somehow nothing happened, you could get a better prospect. So, obviously, still nervous for the draft lottery, but knowing that, it's probably either Wemby or it's starting to feel like it's either Wemby or a big trade.
Yeah.
It does kind of make me a little less nervous. I just hope they move up.
Yeah.
I'm just if they move up, like, I'm good. And with that being said, do you have anything to add on that before we tankathon?
Well, someone asked earlier, would you prefer Jalen Brown or Siakam? I think, well, if we made the trade before the draft, I think Ant matches Jalen Brown straight up. So, like, he's a lot easier to get. We wouldn't have to add the extra salary. Obviously, that wouldn't be the trade. But what I'm saying is they do have ways to match Jalen Brown and give up a ton of other picks and stuff. Whereas if it's Siakam, you're probably having to look at giving up several more contracts. And it might hurt a little more. So I'd probably say Brown fits a little bit better for what this team needs if we're re-signing Grant, obviously.
The fit is a little cleaner with Brown, too, because he's big enough to play the 3. So it's like with Sharp coming along, if you're keeping Sharp, Sharp at the 3 next to Ant isn't as good of a fit as Sharp and Brown together, and you could probably call Brown the 3 there. So I do like the idea of trading, if that becomes available, like Ant, the lottery pick, and then maybe, another first for Brown.
Now that trade, you might be able to keep one of Sharp or Ant.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how much it would cost.
Yeah.
You're probably just, the difference in value is probably like, depending on where the lottery picks up, is going to determine how many future firsts on top of the lotto pick and Ant you're going to give up in that trade.
Mm-hmm.
So, how many years does he have left on his contract?
Just one. That's
the positive thing.
That's why I'm saying,
yeah,
it's going to be possibly like the Jeremy Grant situation.
Because, like, if you have a year on your contract, like if you're an expiring contract, you're able to kind of control where you get traded to a little bit better. Because you can sit here and say, I'll only resign for this team or these couple of teams or whatever. I want to go here. So then other teams are like, are we going to be able to keep him? Becomes a question. So should we give up all these assets? The Blazers still obviously would have to give up a lot to get him. But it does make it easier to maybe keep a Shaden Sharp, you know? So I like the idea. I like the idea of Jalen Brown. I think him with Sharp at the 2 and 3 is a little better fit. I think obviously Brown is a better defensive player than Ant, and I think he's just more dynamic offensively. He averaged almost 27 a game. His 3-point shooting was a little bit down. It was at 33.5%, but he's career 36.5% 3-point shooter. So you'd expect that to bounce back at some point. He shot almost 58% from 2 last year on 13 attempts per game. He gets to the rim. He's athletic. Like, he's still only 26. So if you're talking about future core, you could still potentially have a Jalen Brown and a Shaden Sharp. That could be a star duo.
All right, I have a question for you.
All right, go ahead.
Blazers, Celtics have this deal on the table, right? Let's just say it's Ant and the lotto pick and a couple future firsts or something. And last minute, Brooklyn calls and says, we want Jalen Brown. We'll give you McHale and Claxton or your pick of whatever other player you want. Are you taking Brown or McHale and Clax?
Oh, wow. I mean, like, McHale would want to be here. Claxton's on the last year of his deal, right?
Yeah, he's like $8 million, something. Yeah.
It depends on how confident you could be in Claxton resigning.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably lean towards McHale and Claxton because I think McHale's a better defender than Brown, and offensively he could be equivalent to Jalen Brown. We just don't know yet. So I think you absolutely have to do that. Mm-hmm. Like, especially if you're getting Claxton. So
yeah, and I know I come up with these a lot, but right now, this is what I'm doing if I'm in charge of the Blazers. I am going out and I'm calling Toronto and saying we'll take whichever one you want, Otto Porter Jr. or Thaddeus Young. We'll just take them off your hands because I don't think they want both of them on their team next year. They're going to be pushing, the luxury tax / second tax line, depending on what they do with Van Vliet and Gary Trent Jr. if he opts out. So I think you could probably get one of those guys for like nothing just for taking on their contract. So I would go get one of those two right now. And then, so apparently Terrence Mann hates Ty Lue, and they came out today and said that Ty Lue was being kept on as coach. And Ty Lue, a few minutes later after that statement, tweeted out LMAO, and that was it. So
Ty Lue tweeted that?
No. Terrence Mann said that. So
okay, that makes more sense.
So right now, Mann makes like 1.9, but he's on that contract that jumps after this season.
Yeah,
and it goes up to like 10 to 12 million. I forgot what it was, but something like that. So I'm going out getting Terrence Mann right now because you can match his salary easy, or you could, absorb him in the smaller TPE we have, right? And so like I'd be inquiring on that, trying to get him. And then I'm calling Washington's new GM, whenever they hire a new GM. I would almost be willing to bet money that they are not wanting to pay Gafford that full contract and would love to get him off the books. He is the same way. He makes 1.9 million right now, and it jumps to like 12 or 13 million over the next few years. So you could get all three of those guys. Basically, you could maybe have to send out one contract, like a Keon or something, just to match one.
I think you could fit, because they have another TPE, so you could fit one of them under the TPE, then like Otto Porter Jr. plus.
Yeah, it's close, but like worst case scenario, we have to send out one player just to make it work, right?
Yeah, like a Keon.
Yeah, so like you give Keon to Washington or whatever in the trade, or maybe Toronto wants him or whatever. So right now, it only costs you your TPE. And then maybe a minimum contract and, maybe second round picks or whatever it takes. But then 60 days from now, it's right before the new league year. Even if it's like a week or two from now, you'd still be early enough in the new league year to where those contracts jump up. And then, so either way, you have a situation now where all of a sudden you have like a $7 million contract in Otto Porter Jr. and a $10-11 million contract in Terrence Mann, and then like a $12-13 million contract in Daniel Gafford, and they're all combinable. If you make a big trade like that, you either have those three players as depth to fill in rotation spots, or you use those guys as another move to follow up, and you can get maybe I don't know what the player is, but maybe you get like a Tobias Harris or something, like by adding up a bunch of contracts that you didn't have right now. Like, I'm not saying I want Tobias Harris, but it was just an example. But like you would have the flexibility to do that. And so,
or you would potentially have depth, after consolidating.
Right. So like if you traded Nurk out, you'd still have Gafford at least, and Giannis could play some center or whatever in that situation. Or, Thad Young or Otto Porter Jr. could be your backup 3-4 type player. I just, those are the kind of things I would do right now. Just get those guys that are cheap right now. You could probably get them without giving up a ton of assets, but also their contracts become very, very nice in terms of us needing them to match contracts and stuff down the road.
Yeah. I mean, obviously the big question with this is like, that's adding a lot of salary going into next year. How does Jody feel about that?
But my point is, if we're getting Giannis or whatever, like, we have to go for it. Like, whatever it takes. Like,
just like you'd have to make that trade right now, and it's like they don't know, so they convince Jody like, yeah, we're gonna do this or do that. It'd be tough.
Yeah.
But like, obviously it put us in a great position to have matchable salaries to trade out that could be combinable 60 days from now, which is like June 26th, June 25th, like right after the draft. And you can make draft day trades with those contracts and just say like, okay, we'll put it through on June 27th, right? So you just have these salaries to play around with to match
or July 7th, like the Grant trade ended up.
Yeah, or July 7th. Like, you basically just have more trade flexibility with the additional salaries. So, like, if they came out and just got, like, one of those guys, if they came out and got, Daniel Gafford right now, I feel like a lot of people would be like, yay, they're trading Nurk, they found their Nurk replacement. And, like, we'd be sitting here like, yay, they went out and got a contract that'll give them more trade flexibility. I think that's why they did it right now, you know what I mean?
He's a quality backup too.
Yeah, he's a quality backup too, but like, people will be like, oh, they got Terrence Mann, and they'd analyze him like, oh, how does Terrence Mann fit on their team? They're trying to make the bench better, blah, 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 and it'd just be like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It'd be funny. It'd be funny to see that, because if they went out and got a Terrence Mann, it would show me that Jody is willing to maybe be in the tax next year, and it would show me that Cronin knows how to be creative and is trying to set himself up to make trades. Like, getting a Terrence Mann right now would be huge just for those reasons.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have to do anything. It wouldn't have anything to do with him being on the team or playing for the team next year.
I mean, he'd be a quality defender and stuff, but like,
yeah, but it's just all those reasons. Jody being willing to pay, Cronin being creative enough, Cronin being able to piece together a trade are like my three biggest concerns.
The reason why I like Gafford and Mann too is they're both still young enough to kind of fit in, even if we do move on and stick with the youth movement eventually. They could still provide a role in that younger team.
Yeah. And even Otto Porter Jr. on limited minutes could be an okay, like, 8th, 9th man next year. Depending on how he responds to this injury. He kind of struggled this year, but has been a solid NBA player.
This, to me, goes back to having Wiseman's contract right now, because if we're talking about including hit like Anthony and Wiseman for someone along with picks and stuff, I just think it's not like a negative in a thing, but you could keep some of your depth maybe.
Yeah. But like, if you got the seconds, and maybe that helps you open up your future first, and then you still had a contract like a Wiseman to trade, then all of a sudden, like, I wouldn't even be bothered that they didn't get Wiseman. They chose seconds, so that's the thing is, that's why I come back to, like, this offseason, Cronin has a great opportunity to change the narrative about him from us. And it's not that him doing this justifies the value he got back in the Robert Covington, Norm Powell trade. It doesn't justify the way the Pelicans protections worked out for us, where because the Pelicans had the CJ trade work out and they made the playoffs, somehow it got better for them and worse for us, right? Like, it doesn't justify that, but at that point, I don't care. You know, if you end up with Giannis on the team, I don't care about what Cronin did 2 years ago. You got freaking Giannis on the team, right?
It will be really important how he fills the roster around those players, but then the real work starts. But yeah.
Yeah, but you know, that's...
But yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, if you have Giannis, then all of a sudden it's like, okay, Jody's probably willing to go into the tax, so we can, you know, still use our tax pyramid level exception. Like, if they made that all-in trade for Giannis, who would be the guy that you'd try to get as the starting 2, like your number 1 realistic option given the limited assets left?
Put me on the spot. I have to look at...
I mean, would you agree with me on Josh Richardson?
I mean, that's not terrible. I'm not a big Josh Richardson guy, but...
Can knock down threes and play some defense. Has long arms, can play bigger than he is, you know?
Yeah.
Like, realistically, it'd be harder to do better. Because I'm not impressed with the MLE targets in this year's free agency. There's, like, a lot of solid players up top, and then there's, like, a lot of, like, maybe minimum level guys that could be, like, a 9th man, 10th man. I'm not impressed with, like, the mid-tier talent. Even at the guard position in free agency. So, like, Josh Richardson was the one guy that stuck out.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. But if we didn't do my moves, we'd have our other options.
Yeah.
Yeah, Seth Curry is someone I'd take a look at if you can get him. I don't know if he's going to cost too much.
See, I don't know.
Not the defender, but better shooter.
Yeah, see, like, if you had Giannis and Jeremy and Nurk still, I'd want somebody that can defend a bit on the ball at the 2 guard.
Yeah.
So that's where I like Josh Richardson. Like, I still think that team probably needs a shooter like that, but you just have limited assets left other than your first-round picks, so you could probably trade for one of them. But that's dependent upon getting Wemby. So, like, if it's the 3rd pick, you probably got to trade your future first. So then you're just left with a probably tax pyramid level exception and minimums.
Yep.
Chad Coe says Karis LeVert, absolutely not. Not a good defender. Not a consistent 3-point shooter. Not good off the ball. Like, kind of needs the ball in his hands to be effective. You would not want him as the starter next to, like, a Dame, Grant, Giannis trio. Or even for all the people that are like, there's no chance about Giannis, stop saying his name. Even like a Jalen Brown, Grant, Dame trio. You still wouldn't want a Karis LeVert next to that.
Yeah.
Or a player like that.
Yeah. Oh, we have Matisse we could resign.
Yeah, see, but I just wonder how much that's going to cost. You know, like, do you want to resign Matisse for like $6-7 million a year? Do you want to get somebody close to Matisse that could come on a minimum?
I think if you make a big trade for depth, you pretty much have to keep Matisse, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, like, I was looking at the numbers, because there is a chance that, I mean, depending on the way the trade works out, like, you could get back Bobby Portis. Yeah.
Unfortunately, the MLE becoming a trade exception isn't going to take place till the 24-25 season. It's stupid, but yeah.
Why wait?
Ooh, Najee Marshall wouldn't be bad.
See, like, that's the type of guys, yeah.
Shake Milton.
The thing is, though, Shake Milton as the starter.
I'm not saying starter, but
off the bench, like, yeah, you get Josh Richardson and then maybe a Shake Milton. I just think Shake Milton's going to get more than a minimum, though, so that's the tough part.
I was talking about MLE, but
yeah, I just, think you need to use the MLE on, like, a guy that can defend and knock down threes. Because any guy that can defend and knock down threes decently is going to get more than a minimum.
Yeah.
So that's where you're kind of stuck with the 2-guard position.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, that's that's why, like, Giannis doesn't become available, but, like, Jalen Brown wants to come here and you can keep Sharp in a deal, then you have your starting 5 next year.
Yeah.
You don't have a hole to fill. You got Dame, you got Sharp, you got Jalen Brown, you got Jeremy Grant, and you got Yusuf Nurkic.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just gotta hope that Sharp can take a jump defensively, because like Sharp's defense might be kind of the X factor in that lineup. Like offensively, that lineup's gonna crush. Defensively, it has potential.
We also like if somehow we kept the number 23 pick in a trade, then I mean we haven't really talked about guards that much, but but like if I've seen a few mocks where like a Nick Smith Jr. falls to the low 20s or whatever, or even second round pick where Sasser's still on the board or something. Like you could like, improve your depth that way.
In like a lot of these scenarios, if you still had that pick, you know who would have been perfect, who was in that range that isn't anymore?
Who?
Jordan Hawkins.
Oh yeah.
Like you talking about needing a shooter?
Oh, for sure, yeah. That'd be awesome.
Dude could come in right away and be a movement shooter.
That'd be awesome.
Like that guy would have been perfect. And like shoot, I don't really trust him defensively, but maybe you could start him because his shooting's good enough and you just go all in on offense.
I don't think you can get Caleb Martin, but maybe since Cody Martin was hurt all year, maybe you take a chance on him being healthy and for some wing depth. Maybe Charlotte's willing to give him away.
Mm-hmm. Colby Jones is another interesting name.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just feel like I don't think he has a ton of upside, but I think he does too many things well to not be a solid role player.
Yeah.
How old is he? He's a 3-year player.
Yeah.
Kind of struggled with his shot until this past year was 38%, so that's kind of the key for him. 6'5", over 4 assists per game, 6 boards, 15 points, 56% from 2, 38% from 3 at Xavier last year, which was a good team.
Strother.
I mean, even Strother there, dude. I don't think Strother will fall to the mid part of the second round. I think Strother's going very late first or very early second.
You can maybe trade down a couple picks and get... Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, you would maybe take Strother at 23 because he kind of fits what you need there.
Yeah.
Just defensively has question marks. He tries, though. He tries. He's just...
Yeah, obviously, I mean, we've seen the last few drafts, like Quickly, Maxey, those type of players, you can find them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Judah Mintz is interesting. He just didn't shoot the ball well, but he's talented, like kind of a higher upside guy. So probably wouldn't fit with that, but, you know, if you're looking for a guard.
Yeah, I think we could do fine. Oh, well.
I'm starting to like the late part of the first round in this draft.
Yeah.
I don't like picks, just in terms of value at the pick. I don't really like picks like 6/7 through like pick 15.
Mm-hmm.
Like that range is kind of compared to other drafts for me. But I just feel like you have a lot of players that are close between like 6th, 7th best player in the draft and like 30th best player in the draft. I feel like the gap in that range is smaller than normal.
Yeah.
Which is probably just BS that I'm saying, but...
Well, I mean, it's just like the NBA in general. I mean, there's so many talented players. It's hard to differentiate between a lot of them in that range.
Yeah. Well, like some years, there's guys that like 6, 7, 8, where it's like, yeah, you take that guy. You know what I mean? Like, for sure. Like, how is he even on the board? Like, Sharp last year at 7, it's like... I wasn't even that high on him, but looking back, I mean, just a guy that upside, I don't think you'll have a guy with that upside at 7.
Mm-hmm.
So...
Austin
or like Mathurin at 6, I think is better right away and has more upside than probably who will be available at 6 right now.
Yeah.
I mean, there's guys that will break out and be really good. It's just hard to say. As much of a safe / high upside pick.
Yeah.
What's up?
Don and Jay Torrey with that.
Well, let me take Caleb's dono first. $2 dono because I haven't taken this one yet and don't want to forget. Shout out Caleb Pendergraph, $2 dono. Says, could the Blazers maybe target Jarrett Allen? I just... With what the Blazers need, Like, obviously, he'd be an upgrade over Nurk, but it doesn't make sense to spend assets to do that for me.
Plus, he got out rebounded, and that would be an issue with Grant. He got killed on the boards in that Knicks series.
Yeah. So, like, you could make the argument you'd be buying low on a center that was an all-star last year, really good rim protector. Like, I understand the argument for him, but I just don't think it makes sense. If we had 20 first-round picks, okay, maybe, you know, like, just we don't have unlimited assets, so. Shout out to Don and J Tor with the 150 rupee dono. Says, "What's up, guys? Big fan here." He's just gonna say that every time. How likely are we to end up with one of Mikal or OG? By the way, we want Chase back again. Well, you might. Chase was the NBA Uprise. I did the NBA Uprise watch party with him, but you might see Chase might do some shorts for us. We'll see, and then maybe next year we have something planned with him. I'll keep you guys posted. There's no reason to rush it, though. No reason to rush it. But Chase is really cool.
Got to 1K?
Yeah, I got to 1K on NBA Uprise. Gabe helped me get over that because I hopped on his stream. It's just been hard to match up schedules with Chase. He was under the weather and then had something planned. And we definitely want to do a watch party. If there's a Game 7, we'll do a watch party for the first round. If not, we'll definitely do them more often in the second round. So those watch parties would be NBA Uprise just for some playoff games, just for some fun. So go and subscribe if you want to. Link in description.
Actually, I'm beginning to think that Jalen Brown or Giannis are more likely than Mikal. Like, I mean, as funny as that sounds, like,
I mean, I feel like if you hadn't told me that about Jalen Brown, I might have still said Jalen Brown.
Yeah.
Giannis, yeah. I mean, Mikal's situation is just like Brooklyn overvalues him so much that it's just not even realistic to trade for him.
Yeah.
At all. Whereas, like, Giannis is a different set of circumstances that aren't completely insane. Like, I feel like anything with Mikal is just completely insane. Whereas, like, with Giannis, it's, okay, can Dame effectively recruit him? Which is going to be extremely difficult and maybe impossible, but doesn't sound as insane to me. So I actually agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
I actually agree with that. And if it's not Jalen Brown because the Celtics win, then you're substituting Joel Embiid in for him. There's options, man. And then Toronto with their mess of a season with OG and Siakam. Like, I think the Blazers have enough options to make something happen. And I've never really felt that way. So, you guys know me. I always go into the offseason like, we're going to get screwed. I don't trust Cronin. Like, don't expect good things. Something feels different, man.
Rohan,
which is kind of scary.
Yeah. Rohan says, did you guys see Josh Lloyd of Locked On say that OG isn't really on the Blazers list of guys they're going after? Here's the deal with that. Okay, OG has become like worst case scenario now, if that makes sense. Like, he's their fallback guy if they can't get someone else, but he's on the list, and I can't rule him out as a possibility because he's still, out of everyone on the list, he's the only person they can match salary on without giving up a core piece. And so that still could be intriguing, but the reason why he isn't on the list or high on the list is because of Ujiri and their negotiations over the past year and a half with trying to get OG and Siakam and players like that, and they've just been completely ridiculous. And now every Toronto fan would take Sharp and Hart for OG, but that's not on the table anymore. We're obviously not doing that. So I still think it's a possibility if the Blazers strike out on a big name player that OG is something that they have to revisit, and maybe they his asking price comes down, or maybe they end up paying a higher price than they wanted to pay. But I still think he's definitely on the list. I just don't think they're thinking that small right now. I think they're going big game hunting, and aren't going to settle for like an OG level player.
Hypothetical question. Okay. If the Blazers strike out on all the big names, maybe it's just not as many become available or whatever, and it comes down to like, okay, well, OG's the only option left. Do you think the Blazers would offer 3 future firsts for him? And do you think the Raptors right now would accept 3 future Portland firsts for him?
OG, you said?
Yeah.
I don't think they would offer 3 anymore, no. I think they would rather save those for someone else.
Do you think that's what it would take for Ujiri to do it?
If it's future first and they're protected or whatever, yeah, I think it would still take 3. I think if it's like, if we're talking like the 4th or 5th pick, though, I think that definitely would get him without other stuff that we talked about before.
Yeah.
Because
you still have your future first and Sharp and, and to potentially make a splash down the line.
All the things we talked about with Jalen Brown apply to OG too. He's going to be able to opt out of his contract after this next year, so he could kind of use that leverage, say he's not re-signing with the team like Jeremy Grant did. So it is possible, but OG, I don't think has that type of relationship with Grant and Dame that Jalen Brown has. So I don't think it's the same situation. Like, I think he would come here and play here, but I don't think he's gonna like force his way here.
And for the people saying Ujiri already denied 3 firsts from New York, not all future firsts are created equal, especially when you're talking about a team that has future firsts from other teams that have protections on them already, where it's like it only conveys if it's between, 19 and 30, right? Like that pick is not going to be as valuable as like a top 4 protected future Blazer first. So, like just because he turned down 3 firsts from New York doesn't mean he'd turn down 3 firsts protected from Portland, but also that in the same vein is why Portland probably views OG as just like they want too much, and it goes to everything Eric just said.
Yeah, well, I mean, the same thing happened with Jeremy Grant. The Pistons traded down or turned down offers much bigger than the one they ended up accepting from us at the trade deadline a year and a half ago. And then they end up waiting too long. And then all of a sudden, Jeremy Grant has more leverage than they would have had if they traded him at the deadline. And then you're talking about being a rental instead of 1.5 years left on his contract, can help a team on a playoff push and then have a whole nother year with him. So that's OG's value only decreases from here unless they somehow sign an extension with him.
Yep. And Cronin lucked out by not trading for OG last offseason.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say that.
And IZJ's, I mean, we talked about that all last stream. You were doing all these stupid trades with Toronto. Like, just stop it.
Yeah. Anyway. If we're going to do this again, it's just a waste of time. So, shout out to Truly Spencer PDX with a $2 dono. Says, bench press and dumbbell press max, both of you, as a question. I play basketball. I don't lift.
Yeah.
All right.
I live, but I don't do any kind of max stuff, so I have no idea what my max would be.
Yeah. So, sorry to not answer your question, but thank you for the $2 dono. Anyway. Questions?
You want to do a Tankathon?
Tankathon, and then if you guys have any NBA-related questions, you can leave a dono and we'll answer them. If not, we'll move on to life advice, and then we'll get out of here. Then class will be dismissed.
Andy Marchand says, Bruce Brown, TPE if he opts out in Denver. I think he's going to get more than the tax mid-level exception, so anyway. If that's what you meant. But, yeah.
Time. Wait, let me get it up here.
What's the most I bench pressed? Like
2,000.
245, 255 or something. I'm not the best at max bench. I had back when I actually lifted weights, I had those long skinny arms, and it's really hard for people with long skinny arms to bench a lot. Plus, I never took roids or anything, so.
You sure about that?
You see those, like, I don't know, I went to high school with some people who were like 5'10", like $150, and then all of a sudden they're benching like 500 pounds like a month later after high school. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah. I would never. Anyway, time for Tankathon. Fanspo edition.
Oh, switching it up, huh? It's cut off on the side.
Let's just see if Fanspo's better luck, Eric, okay?
All right.
Let's just see if Fanspo's better luck. We're going to simulate it, okay? You got New Orleans, Toronto. Orlando moves down a spot, so whoever was 12 moved up. That's OKC. Dallas loses their pick. It goes to New York. Fanspo needs to work on the protections. 10 is Utah. 9 is Washington. 8 is Indiana. That was glitchy. 7 is Charlotte moving down 3 spots, so Portland's in the top 4 on Fanspo.
And Orlando and OKC.
Yep, Orlando, OKC, and Portland. OKC and Orlando, of course, had the top 2 picks last year. At 6, San Antonio, and at 5, Houston. So you also have Detroit up there with the Blazers, Magic, and Thunder. At 4 is your Portland Trailblazers. I feel like we always get 4th. No matter the website, we're always 4th. At 3 is Detroit. Don't tell me OKC got the number 1 pick. At 2 is the Orlando Magic, meaning the Oklahoma City Thunder get to pair Wemby with Chet. Or they trade Wemby for Giannis.
Yeah.
And then trade all their future firsts for like Jalen Brown and Siakam and... Dude, like, OKC, if they got the number 1 pick, could just become a super team immediately. If they wanted to.
I'm still not upset with this. I'm pretty much resigned to the fact that we're trading the pick, so I don't... As long as it moves up a little bit, it has more value than it does moving down, so I'll take it.
Yeah. If we move up into the top 4, I'm happy. Okay? I'm okay. You know, I obviously would be disappointed not getting 1, but if we move into the top 4, I'm cool. All right? But what I would be disappointed about is OKC getting the number 1 overall pick.
Mm-hmm.
That we're discussing. Let's see if Tankathon is better. Tankathon just feels like home, you know?
Yeah. Who's winning Rookie of the Year next year, Chet or Wemby in that scenario?
Yeah, that'd be fascinating to watch those two play together. At 14, Chet's played against Wemby before too, in like under 18 World Cup or something. I remember watching that game. It was a fun game to watch. At 13, Toronto. At 12, OKC doesn't move up, which is good. At 11, Dallas still loses their pick.
So Chicago keeps their pick.
Chicago is in the top 4. They keep their pick, and Dallas loses theirs. Wow. At 10, Utah. At 9, Washington. So still only 1 team moved out. So far, that's okay. At 8, Indiana. Okay, at 7 is the Charlotte Hornets again.
So Orlando, Chicago, and Portland this time.
Yeah, Orlando loses the pick they get from Chicago, but also moves into the top 4.
Poor Charlotte.
Charlotte gets screwed again. At 6, San Antonio. At 5 is Houston. So it's Detroit, Portland, Orlando again, and this time it's Chicago instead of OKC, which they're like right next to each other at 11 and 12. That's kind of funny. At 4, moment of truth, because Portland's always 4, even on Fanspo. At 4 is the Orlando Magic. At 3 is your Portland Trailblazers. We can't win, dude. But still, obviously 3. 3 is much better than 4. I think, in terms of trades, just because I feel like teams could have wildly different opinions on like Brandon Miller and Amen Thompson, and being able to choose would make things a lot easier. At 2, it's either Chicago or Detroit is who's between. At 2 is Chicago, and at 1 is Detroit. So Detroit gets Wemby with Cade Cunningham and Duran.
And Ivy.
And Ivy. Jeez.
And Bojan Bogdanovic for some reason.
Yeah, and Alec Burks is there for some reason. But Chicago at 2 gets Scoot. That'd be good for them.
Yeah.
Or I wonder if they'd try and trade it to go all in on Levine and DeRozan again after the Vucevic trade backfired.
I don't know.
Huh. Anyway. Life advice time. I guess. That's where we're at. So who... And Killian Hayes, says Rahi.
And Wiseman. And Bagley.
Bagley's there for some reason. Yeah, who's going to play the 3 Bagley? Wemby, Duran, and Wiseman and Bagley lineups. That's what I want to see. Anyway. Chris Brandlin says, I could have poured cold water over any Giannis pipe dreams. I mean, you are the cold water king, Chris. You love yourself some ice cold water. And then he says, Marvin gonna shock y'all one of these years. Chris, are you drunk?
He did miss the stream. He forgot about it, so...
So I just, talked about how he pours cold water on things, but now he's going to say Marvin gonna shock y'all. If Marvin Bagley was a Blazer, it'd be cold water, but since he's not, he's going to shock us.
We said Jalen Duran. Aeromancer's drunk, too. Gosh.
Do you guys have life advice questions, or did you just want to be drunk?
Taylor Packer says, are you guys going to do another Would You Rather stream this offseason? Yeah, of course. We'll do it.
I mean, we're going to need ideas, so
Yeah.
I'll just go back to last year and we did this last year. I guess we'll do that again in August when we're desperate.
Oh, yeah.
Aeromancer said
Happy
he's gonna
birthday,
go out
Aeromancer.
after.
Happy birthday, man.
Everybody in chat, wish Aeromancer a happy birthday. Okay? Listen to what I say. Shout out to Aeromancer is a huge help, so he's helping us big time with the mock off season as well. So, wish him happy birthday. Also, leave a like on the stream. We never ask for them, so that's why you should just do it so that we don't have to.
Grocery outlet or Winco? Winco all the way.
Winco, yeah.
Grocery outlet's fine, but they don't have everything. So
Winco has everything, and it's about as cheap as you can find it. So
when's the start of the fantasy offseason? Come on, call it the right thing. It's the mock off season. And team selection show is Sunday, May 14th.
yes. So we already got our 30-person group. How was summer in Portland? It's not even summer. It's April. I mean, it was warm today for the first time in months.
Is blue cheese valid? Do you
No.
like blue cheese? I'm not a blue cheese guy.
Invalid. Ranch, all the way.
I don't like either, so.
What kind of life advice is how was summer in Portland? Well, you guys are supposed to ask questions
You can
for
ask,
life
yeah.
advice. Yeah, but
I mean, it did feel like a summer day today. It was nice.
Our life advice has never gone wrong.
Favorite pizza topping?
Lettuce.
Well, I like pepperoni, so if I can only
Crispy
choose one,
pepperoni.
Pepperoni.
Crispy pepperoni. You're making me hungry. I haven't eaten today. I'm getting Wendy's after this. Yeah, our life. We give great life advice. We made somebody $1 million once. Remember that, Eric?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, might have been a little bit more.
Speaking of Wendy's, shout out to my guy Billy at Wendy's the other day.
What?
Someone said he watched the show at Wendy's the other day.
You were at Wendy's the other day? I don't know what I'm more surprised about, somebody at Wendy's recognizing you or you being at Wendy's.
I'm a regular at Wendy's.
Are you a regular? I didn't know you were a Wendy's type of guy. Okay.
Well,
because I'm a Wendy's type of guy.
My 6-year-old is obsessed with Frosties, so
okay, I respect.
Like after soccer practice and stuff, she always wants to stop. So yeah.
Tori is tremendously underselling Sharp's potential by saying that he doesn't know if he'll be a top 5 player.
He could be. I'm just saying, like, it's just not guaranteed when you have a guaranteed top 5 player.
Yeah, how am I underselling his potential by saying I don't know if he'll be a top 5 player or not? Really? Come on, man. Like, I should just say, Sharp's a future MVP. You can't trade him for Giannis. Ant is also going to be future MVP. Sharp and Ant are actually going to tie for MVP with Dame in 2 years. And they're not going to lose a game that year. There, I'm Mr. Positive. Trevin says that's an insanely high bar to set for him, saying that you know he will be. Yeah, that's the only alternative to what I said is you know he'll be a top 5 pick. Or a top 5 player.
And Cole Ray's stuck in the early 2000s for some reason.
Nas will be most improved. Just you watch for AJ, I hope, man. It kind of sucked making this player review, not gonna lie. Hyperprem says y'all walk with Portland gear? No. No. I'm not gonna. I don't know. Like there's some stuff. I don't know how legitimate it was, so therefore I don't want to say it. But no.
Truly Spencer asked Taco Bell or Del Taco, Tori. No, the answer to that, but do you want to answer?
Taco Del Mar.
Del Taco is so much better than Del Taco.
Del Taco doesn't make me feel like death the morning after, so.
Yeah, I like Taco Time too, but Del Taco is good.
Nobody wants life advice. Nobody wants to make $1 million or anything or get a girlfriend, so no life advice. You guys don't have any like big dates coming up or anything?
Aeromancer is only I guess he only eats at fancy places.
Mad Mobile says I want life advice. Well, ask me a freaking question. Anthony, yes they are, sorry. But we will take alternates in case people aren't active enough. Bonnie, no comment. How to grow your business as a realtor. Networking, I think.
Yeah, I have no experience in that, but just gotta get out there and be out there all the time. The good ones, you see them everywhere, like just whether they're networking like Tori said, or their faces are plastered over, or their business cards are like everywhere you go.
Every says when's the Blazers Uprise merch though? Sometime in the next decade. I'm not sure. I'll let you guys know obviously, but super busy right now, so kinda that's just another thing that I've forgotten about. Luckily I won our free bracket pool, so because it was a merch package from an upcoming launch for whoever won, but I won, so. Or give Giannis some life advice. Matt Mobile, his life advice question says, just give me your best life story that you can come up with in 5 minutes. I've gotten hit by cars twice while on my bike and didn't fall either time.
Yeah, you haven't talked about that in a while.
I'm really good at getting hit by cars and staying standing.
Landing on his feet after getting hit by a car.
I know, I was thinking about that the other day. Yeah. So if you see me, feel free to test it out. Please don't. Actually,
No, Cole, that was Rise with Us, not Blazers Uprise. I wear that shirt sometimes.
Matt Mobile says that's pretty inspiring. I'm glad I inspired you. I have to have almost tragic things happen to me to inspire people, but you know what? I'll take it. Thomas Zaransky, if we traded for Giannis, what would be the top 3 rules for making bomb mac and cheese? I don't remember the Giannis quote with that. I remember there was something like that, but I can't play off that question. Tori, you could have sued and secured the bag. Well, I wasn't an adult, so I didn't know what suing really was. So I think I apologized. Like, one of them, I was in 8th grade, and I, like, apologized after this lady hit me when I was on my bike. Cuddy, that is not life advice. AJ, no one, unfortunately.
I mean, how are we supposed to know?
Yeah. How are you guys feeling about the first round of the NFL draft? I mean, as Niner fans, I just have nothing.
Yeah.
Like, we
don't
have a first round pick, so. And everything was kind of expected. To me, at least. Oh, the Eagles getting Jalen Carter is annoying, but...
Anthony just messaged Tori on Discord. And for those of you in the mock-off season, please start paying attention to Discord or checking in every once in a while, if you don't already.
Anyway, yep. I think that's a good segue into an outro. Anything else, Eric?
Thank you, everyone, for watching. Appreciate you all. Hope you have a good weekend and rest of your week, and hope to see you on stream Monday.
Yep. Thank you to everyone for being as active as you guys are in chat. It makes it a lot of fun to stream, so we greatly appreciate you. So hopefully we're able to catch you on Thursday, so you guys can make that chat lively as well, because it means a lot to us. So anyway, I'm gonna go grab some food, and I'll have a video or 2 tomorrow. Shaden Sharp's player review is coming up next on the main channel, and then there's 3 videos dropped in the last 24 hours on the main channel, so feel free to check them out if you want. Anyway, thank you to BetOnline for sponsoring this edition of Blazers Uprise Live. Remember that promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for a 50% reward bonus. And with that, we are out of here. We'll catch you live again on Thursday. Until then, as always, peace out. Wait, no, today's Thursday, isn't it? We'll catch you live again on Monday. Okay? Monday, Eric. I mixed up the days. We'll catch you live again on Monday. Until then, have a good weekend. As always, peace out. Go Blazers.